I think that I have possibly lost my passion and I don't really know what to do about it. I'm a business owner. I've been recently researching ADHD, which I was diagnosed when I was, I think, around 7 or 8 years old. And since researching ADHD, I would say this is the first time in a long time that things have actually started to make sense. This video isn't exactly like a solution. It is more of me just talking about what I've kind of figured out and kind of what my next steps are going to be. And maybe some of you guys out there may be able to relate. Recently, I have lost a lot of passion in my construction business. It doesn't necessarily feel like I love my business anymore. It just feels like everything is a hassle, is work, and I never felt like that when I first started. I started it back in 2020. I was only 20 years old, and that was 5 years ago now. It does feel like back then, growing the business, starting the business, I had such motivation, I had such passion behind just like being able to help people in construction, and recently it feels like everything has just kind of came crumbling down on me. I don't really know if this feeling of like losing my passion is just, my business, or is it just construction in general? Maybe I was never passionate about construction and I kind of just got into construction because that's almost what I felt like I had to do because I had no education. It was either like work at McDonald's or go into construction, and because that's all I really knew, that's what I started my business behind. But maybe there is something else that I'm actually more passionate about other than construction. Maybe it is that I'm passionate about business, but just not that industry. And as I mentioned, it has been a bit of a rough patch lately, and I don't know if this is just, maybe the beginning of something better, or maybe it is just something that I'll kind of get over with due time. Now, since going through this kind of rough patch, I have done a lot of research into ADHD, which typically I always hated. Growing up with ADHD, I always felt like I didn't really want to talk about it. I didn't really ever care to learn about it. I was just like, whatever, it's there. It doesn't affect me. It's just kind of like something I was born with. And I never actually really thought of how it could affect me and my life. I just kind of thought it barely affected me. But since doing research, it was actually pretty crazy to find out that a lot of the issues that I grew up with kind of relate to ADHD, and especially just what some of the books, some of the research that I would read is literally like almost a definition of my childhood, and I'm just, or just even my life, and it's just like, holy crap, like this is actually related to ADHD. It's not just who I am. It does have some relation to the unfortunate thing I had no control over. Now, one other good thing that came out of this research could be that, maybe this whole feeling that I'm going through is for the better. Maybe I was going to end up just being in construction for the rest of my life and I would have hated it, or maybe me going through this and doing this research has been able to give me the opportunity to explore why I am feeling this way, and maybe I have a whole different passion that I've never actually experienced. I would say one other good thing that I kind of learned from researching ADHD is that the standard of like what neurotypical people are doing is not standard for me. I always felt like, I was either lazy or I wasn't self-disciplined enough, or maybe I was just a bad person for not being able to follow what everyone else does, this standard. Get up in the morning and brush your teeth every single day. Oh, I forgot to brush my teeth. Oh crap, like it's already 11 o'clock. Something like that. Or even, simple things of like, oh, if you want to grow a business, you need to work every single day, all your weekends, this and that. But I would not work weekends simply because I knew when I would work a weekend, I would just burn out by Monday, that I would end up taking 3 days off instead of just the 2. But I always would tell myself, oh, you're just a failing person. You're just not doing a good enough job because, you can't do what everyone else is doing. And I guess the best way to explain it is like when you have ADHD, a simple task such as, just doing something like brushing your teeth in the morning. For most people, it's like, oh, you go in the bathroom and you brush your teeth. But for me, it's like, oh, first I have to climb Mount Everest, get over top of it, then I can get to my bathroom to brush my teeth. And it's like so much more work to do such simple things, and it just sucks. Now, on the flip side of kind of everything that was good that came out of, doing all this research, there was also kind of a lot of bad. There have been a lot of days where I am just super depressed. I've seen my doctor and she's prescribed me depression medication because she has never seen me this low in the, 3 or 4 years that we've been exploring, my ADHD by taking new medications and stuff like that. I would say that the reason why I'm going into this depressive state might be because I'm learning about all of these things that I did as a kid that was always blamed on me, or I blamed myself for, which isn't related to me. Having ADHD, yeah, sure, there may be some great things about it, but I feel like there's also a lot of things that just suck. people think it's a superpower, but at the end of the day, it's like, it makes a lot of things more difficult for people. I think some of the hardest things to really like, swallow is that after learning a lot about ADHD, there's a lot of things that like my friends or family may think that I'm doing, which makes me a bad person or a bad friend. I would always tell myself, yeah, I'm a bad person or I'm a bad friend for not doing these things, because they're just normal things, like just checking up on your friends every once in a while. But like learning about ADHD, it's like almost getting a little bit of a free pass of being like, no, it's not your fault. It's actually your ADHD. And again, going back to the example of following up with your friend, it's simple. Just think about your friends more often, check up on them. But there's just so many things that are going into my brain that it's like, I don't even think about my friends in general. And it's like, and it sucks. It's like, I still love them. I still want to be their friends. I still want to really be like a good person to them. But it's like my brain doesn't allow me to do the simple things to show that gratitude of them being my friend. And it really sucks, because I want to be able to turn around and say, look, it's not my fault, but I also just don't want it to be like, oh, it's just an excuse. And I think that really sucks, is it feels like because ADHD is something that is so not talked about in the general public or taught in schools, it's like the things that I feel like I have affected other people by doing, I can't even like justify, because I'm just making excuses or I'm just a bad person or something along those lines. And it sucks because it's also not even their fault. Like, they shouldn't know things. I mean, I didn't even know about all of like these things, and it's like it just sucks, because it's like I want to be able to be the person I want to be, but my brain is holding me back. Now, since I've been researching this whole, ADHD and like a lot more than just ADHD too, like passion, happiness, just self-help in general. The one thing that I have noticed is that there is some little spark in me, even though I've been like so depressed that I don't want to get out of bed, or I don't answer the phone, or I don't even like look at my phone all day, or I don't talk to anybody. One thing is there's like this small little spark that's being like, I want to be better. I want to be happy. I want to be in control of how I'm feeling. I keep pushing and I keep looking at research and I keep reading books, and I'm constantly trying to figure out what I can do to get myself out of there, which I am really happy about, because I know that depression can be very difficult for some people, to the point to where they have the feeling of doing nothing, and I do feel that. But there is that little bit of a spark in me that's saying, go, 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 and I'm trying, and it does feel like a dead end a lot of the times, and sometimes it does result in me just laying in bed and not doing anything with my day. But something like today, I said, you know what, I'm gonna come out here and record this video even though all I wanted to do was stay in bed today. And I wouldn't say that my research is over. Like, I haven't figured things out. Like, I am gonna still continue to figure out what I have to do to be happy in life. It's almost like a little bit of a midlife crisis of figuring out that there is something wrong in my life, or at least there is that feeling of something wrong in my life. One thing with ADHD is that you hate having people think negatively about you. One thing I am still a little scared about is if I do decide, oh, I want to try this or I want to try that, I don't want to have other people thinking, oh, he's just trying something new again, or oh, he's trying something, ridiculous that's not going to last long. Or if I do try something and I end up quitting, it's like, well, he's quitting again. What's new? It's just something that like I am still terrified of having people think that of me. And kind of going off of that, like I do love having so many different hobbies. I mean, I'm sitting in my garage and I have woodworking tools, music equipment. It's just like there's so much going on in here, but it's like this is what I love to do. I love to have all these hobbies, but I also hate that I can never stick with them. And I feel like there's a lot of things that people think about as, oh, it's just another hobby, or it's just another, career path in a sense. I hate it myself that I can't stick with these hobbies, because I do want to, grow within them and make them into something more than just a hobby. But I always feel like I'm constantly rotating on what I have enjoyment today compared to what I had enjoyment to yesterday, or maybe it's this month or this week, and maybe that's just how I am. I don't know. Now, in terms of kind of where am I going to go from here? What's the point of this video? I have found one thing in common with a lot of my hobbies is that I love to create. I like to create things, whether it's, with my hands or with my mind. I like to create things. That's what my hobbies are kind of all linking in together. Then that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to try to just create, whatever that means. And in doing that, like, I want to create new things. I want to try new things. Maybe it's a new hobby. Maybe it's something I've done before, but in a different way. At the end of the day, I want to try to just do things that I want to do and then document my process as I go through that. And at the end of the day, I hope that I do find my passion and I can go back and look at my process of trying to find that passion. One thing I am also going to make sure I start doing is living my life working with my ADHD rather than kind of against it. If there's something that my brain is making, difficult for me, rather than just, trying to push through and get through it, I may try to look at a different approach on how can I solve this problem, whether it's bringing in external help or maybe I just have to go at it at a different way. And these are the type of things I also want to document, because if there is a strategy or a tip that worked for me, maybe it works for somebody else who could be going through the same issues. You know, documenting my life, sharing it on YouTube, I've always loved being able to do that so I can, you know, share to other people what, you know, my life is like, as well as go back and kind of revisit old memories of how my life was. It's one of my favorite things to do. And I have always wanted to continue doing that, but again, it always felt like I needed some sort of niche to stick within. And again, with the hobbies all going all over the place, it felt like I couldn't pursue sharing my life like that because I would always not get anywhere if I didn't have that niche. But this time, my niche is going to be, this is who I am. This is me trying to figure out who I am. And if I love it, I'll continue doing it. If I hate it, I'm going to quit. People may consider that I have quit again, or, oh, he's back to YouTube and he's gone again. I'm sorry, you know, it is how it's going to be. If I do end up quitting, it's because I ended up hating it, or I ended up hating something about it. Maybe I'll be back in the future. Who knows? All I know is that whatever I'll be doing, whether it's on YouTube or not, I'm going to be trying to figure out what that passion is so I can live a happy life. For anyone who's watching this video, I don't know why I'm making it. I kind of just felt like I wanted to make some sort of, you know, content and push it out to the world and kind of explain what's going on, because if I just start posting videos without some sort of explanation, I felt like it's going to not really make sense. If there is anyone out there who is kind of feeling similar to how I'm feeling, let me know down in the comments, and hopefully, you know, there's something that I can do to try to help. And if not, maybe you're just here because you're either one of my friends, or maybe you're a family member, or just someone who's watched previous videos. You know, I'll try my best to continue doing what I've been doing, and I appreciate everyone who is in my life. You guys have been really good to me, and if I haven't been, you know, as around as I should be in the last little while, I'm sorry for that. I have just been, you know, trying to get through life and figure out what's going on. And yeah, I do appreciate everyone. If you guys want to stick around and see what happens, well, I'll let you guys come along the ride. Anyways, thank you very much.